Aloha, my friends, and welcome back to our The Haunted Tales of YouTube, where the night always holds secrets, and the shadows whisper ancient tales. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a haunted heartbeat. Tonight, we travel to the islands of paradise, Hawaii. But don't let the palm trees and ocean breeze fool you. Beneath the sunshine and aloha spirit lies a deeper, darker world, where ancient spirits roam, curses are passed down through generations, and restless souls refuse to be forgotten. So grab a cozy blanket, dim the lights, and prepare yourself for a moonlit journey through the top most haunted places in Hawaii. When Clara accepted the travel writing assignment to cover the mystical folklore of Hawaii, she never imagined she'd come face to face with the very legend locals begged her not to follow, the Night Marchers. Her flight had barely touched down in Oahu before the air felt thick with unspoken tension. At her first interview in a tucked-away cafe in Waipahu, the elderly owner leaned in after she mentioned her story idea. "Kahea'o. You don't call to them," the woman whispered, her hands trembling slightly. "Some things are better left forgotten. The Night Marchers are not a tale. They are a warning." Clara smiled politely, jotting notes, brushing it off as local superstition. But the more she traveled between islands, from Oahu to Maui, the Big Island to Kauai, the more people grew silent at the mention of the Night Marchers. Some changed the subject. Others refused interviews. A kahuna in Hilo simply said, "If you hear the drums, you must not look. Lay flat. Eyes closed. Breath shallow." She rolled her eyes, but she kept the quote. By her sixth day in Hawaii, Clara had visited several sites said to be haunted by these phantom warriors, ancient battlegrounds, royal burial caves, even lava fields believed to be their pathways. Each night, strange things happened. Torches flickered in the distance. Winds howled with no cause. And always there was that sound, the faint beat of a war drum, rhythmic, steady, but never close, until Kauai. Her final stop was a secluded jungle trail near Waimea Canyon. The locals had said that, on certain nights, a sacred procession could be heard crossing the cliffs, the path of alii, royalty, and their guards, walking from mountains to sea. Legend said they floated inches above the ground, torches in hand, faces fierce, still bound to protect the sacred bloodlines. Clara camped near the path with her camera, notebook, and recorder. She was determined to get something, anything, that would make her article viral. As darkness fell, a strange silence overtook the jungle. Even the crickets held their breath. Then came the drums, soft, at first. Faint. Almost like a heartbeat in the trees. Clara's breath hitched. She turned on her camera. No one would believe her otherwise. A single conch shell blast shattered the night. Then another, and another. She froze. From the trees emerged glowing torches, bobbing in synchronized rhythm. Shadows danced behind the flames, dozens of them. The marchers were coming. Clara lifted her camera, trembling. But then she remembered the kahuna's words. Lay flat. Eyes closed. Her instincts battled her curiosity. But her journalistic drive won. She zoomed in. What the lens captured was impossible. Ghostly warriors, 8 feet tall, faces painted in war patterns, weapons at the ready, floated inches above the earth. Their eyes burned like molten rock. Their mouths moved, but no sound came from them. Behind them came drummers, conch blowers, and cloaked figures, some bearing feathered capes of high chiefs. Suddenly, one warrior stopped. His head turned slowly, directly toward Clara's hiding spot. Her heart froze. She stumbled backward, the camera falling from her hands. The warrior raised his weapon. "No!" Clara screamed, shielding her eyes. But it was too late. A blast of freezing wind knocked her to the ground. Everything went dark. When Clara woke, she was in a hospital and a park ranger had found her unconscious near a trail, clutching a cracked camera. No signs of injury. No bruises. But her hair had turned white at the roots. And she wouldn't speak for 2 days. When she finally did, she whispered, "I saw them. All of them." The footage on her camera was corrupted, distorted with flickering images and static. But one frame remained intact. It showed a line of ghostly figures, their torches blazing in unnatural fire, faces frozen in a rageful scream, with one of them looking directly into the lens. Clara never published the article. She returned to the mainland and never spoke of her time in Hawaii again. But those who watched her footage claimed that, if you listen closely, you can still hear the drums behind the static, and some say the marchers have started to appear beyond the islands, wherever someone invokes their name too boldly. So if you're ever in the Hawaiian wilderness and the night suddenly grows still, if you hear drums echo in the distance, if you see torches lighting a path through the dark, don't look. Don't run. Lie down. Close your eyes. Hold your breath, and hope they don't see you. There's a certain kind of magic to Oahu, the rhythmic crash of waves, the salt-tinged breeze, and the promise of paradise beneath every sway of the palm trees. For newlyweds Jenna and Tyler Matthews, the Hilton Hawaiian village seemed like the perfect escape: oceanfront views, sprawling gardens, and endless sunshine. But neither of them could have foreseen the nightmare awaiting them beneath the tropical allure. They checked into the Rainbow Tower, a luxurious building known for its iconic mosaic wall and prime views of Waikiki Beach. The receptionist, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, handed them their keycard and smiled. Room 1428. You're going to love it, honeymooners always do. As they made their way up the elevator, Jenna noticed an older man step inside just as the doors were closing. His clothes looked strangely outdated: a faded aloha shirt, frayed slacks, and no shoes. His hair was salt white and slicked back, and he didn't press a button. Tyler offered a polite smile. "Which floor are you going to?" The man turned slowly, locking eyes with Jenna. His gaze was empty. "I'm already there," he whispered, and when Jenna blinked, he was gone. The elevator doors opened to the 14th floor. Tyler looked around, confused. "Did he get off?" Jenna shook her head, unsettled. "I didn't see him leave." Brushing it off as jet lag, they entered room 1428. It was beautiful: crisp linens, modern furnishings, and a balcony with an uninterrupted view of the Pacific. But the moment Jenna stepped inside, a chill settled around her. The air felt wrong. Heavy. Later that night, they lay in bed listening to the gentle surf below. But around 2 a.m., Jenna awoke to a faint humming. It was a tune, soft and haunting, like a lullaby sung from underwater. She nudged Tyler. "Do you hear that?" He groaned, half asleep. "Probably someone outside." But the humming grew louder. Jenna slipped out of bed and followed the sound to the balcony. The ocean was calm, the moon silver over the water, and that's when she saw her. A woman stood at the edge of the waves, barefoot in a white gown, her long black hair billowing in the breeze. She stared up at the Rainbow Tower, eyes fixed, directly on Jenna. Jenna gasped and stepped back, slamming the sliding door shut. The next morning, she mentioned it to the front desk. The receptionist's face went pale for a split second before regaining composure. "You must have seen someone from the wedding party," she offered. "We had a beach ceremony last night." But that didn't explain why the woman disappeared when Jenna tried to point her out to Tyler. Nor did it explain the wet footprints that led from the balcony door to the center of the room. That evening, they decided to explore the grounds, hoping fresh air and mai tais might ease their nerves. As they strolled past the lagoon, an elderly Japanese man with a walking stick sat on a bench, watching the water. He nodded politely. "You're staying in the Rainbow Tower, yes?" Surprised, Tyler nodded. "Yeah. How'd you know?" The old man didn't answer at first. Instead, he pointed to the water. "That place, it wasn't always a hotel. It was a healing site, sacred to the ancient Hawaiians. Spirits don't like being disturbed." Jenna hesitated. "Have you heard of a woman in white? Long black hair?" He gave a slow nod. "Madame Pele sometimes takes that form. She tests people. But if you saw her here, perhaps she's not the only one lingering." When they returned to their room, the lights were flickering. Tyler assumed it was a wiring issue, but Jenna felt it again, the chill, like invisible eyes crawling along her skin. That night, she dreamed of fire and waves crashing over ancient stones. A face appeared in the smoke, the same woman from the beach, her mouth open wide, but no scream came out. She jolted awake, heart racing, only to find Tyler standing motionless at the balcony door. "Tyler?" she whispered. He turned slowly. His eyes were open, but his pupils were gone, just milky white orbs. "She wants you," he said in a voice not his own. Jenna screamed. The next morning, Tyler had no memory of it. He laughed it off, assuming she had a nightmare. But Jenna wasn't laughing. She was ready to leave. She packed their things and marched to the front desk. "Something's wrong with that room. We need to check out early." The same receptionist looked up, eyes tired. "Room 1428, right?" Jenna froze. "Yes." "Why?" The woman sighed. "You're not the first. That room, it's been difficult. We've tried blessing it, cleaning it, even renovations. Nothing works." "What happened there?" Jenna demanded. The receptionist hesitated. "Back in the 70s, a woman was staying there alone. She was found drowned in the lagoon, still wearing her nightgown. Some say she was sleepwalking, others say she was drawn there." Jenna clenched her fists. "She's still there." The woman nodded. "We call her the Bride of the Lagoon. She appears to those who are most open." Jenna didn't wait. They checked out that afternoon and booked a red-eye flight home. But as their plane lifted off over Oahu, Jenna gazed out the window, down at the glowing towers of the Hilton Hawaiian village. And there, standing at the edge of the lagoon, visible even from above, was the woman in white, watching her go, and this time Jenna saw her smile. The rain never really stops on Nuanupali Drive. It clings to the ancient trees, trickles down the moss-covered stones, and whispers through the thick foliage like a voice not quite human. Locals speak of Morgan's Corner with hesitation, a shudder in their breath. It's not just the place, they say, it's the history that never quite left. Late one evening, two friends, Keahi and Malia, decided to take a detour through the infamous stretch. Keahi had always been a thrill-seeker, and the stories about Morgan's Corner were just that to him, stories. Malia, however, was more cautious. Her grandmother used to warn her about that road. "Never go near Morgan's Corner at night," she once said, voice trembling. "The dead don't sleep there." But peer pressure and the thrill of the unknown led her into Keahi's old jeep as they made the turn off the main road and onto the winding, narrow path that cut through the dense rainforest. "Just a quick drive," Keahi said, grinning. "We'll see the bend, take a few pictures, and bounce." The air was unnaturally heavy as they drove deeper into the foliage. The trees leaned in, their twisted limbs arching like crooked fingers. The headlights barely cut through the darkness. Fog slithered along the ground, rising in slow curls around the tires. Malia gripped her phone tighter, scrolling through a map she couldn't seem to load. "No signal," she mumbled. "That's part of the charm, right?" Keahi joked, tapping the steering wheel. "You feel that? That's history in the air." She didn't laugh. They soon reached it, a tight, almost unnatural curve in the road bordered by thick vegetation and a crumbling stone wall. The curve was sharper than expected, unnerving in its geometry, like the road had been bent by force, not nature. "This is it. Morgan's Corner," Keahi whispered. He parked the jeep and stepped out. Malia hesitated but followed, the wet ground squishing under her shoes. Keahi took a few photos and wandered toward the edge of the old wall. "Legend says a girl was hanged from this tree," he said, pointing to a gnarled, half-dead banyan that loomed over the road. "Her ghost still hangs there, swinging in the wind. Some say they see her, others hear her." Malia swallowed hard. "That's not just legend," she said. "It really happened. In 1948, two escaped convicts broke into a woman's home. Beat her. Left her for dead. The locals say her spirit never moved on." Keahi raised an eyebrow. "Didn't think you were into ghost stories." "I'm not," Malia said. "I just listen when my ancestors talk." Suddenly, the air grew colder. A sharp breeze sliced through the trees and with it, a low creak echoed from above. They both looked up. Nothing. Then, the smell hit them. Rotting flowers, wet dirt, and something else. Something metallic. Keahi turned his flashlight to the tree, and froze. A length of rope dangled from the thickest branch, swaying gently. It hadn't been there moments ago. The breeze wasn't strong enough to explain its motion. And it wasn't old and frayed, it was new. Fresh. Did you? Keahi asked, voice suddenly dry. Did you see that rope before? No, Malia whispered, backing away. Then came the sound, soft at first, like water dripping onto stone. Then clearer. A dragging sound. Footsteps. Wet, slow, and wrong. Keahi swung his flashlight toward the source, but the beam flickered. The bulb dimmed, then popped. Darkness swallowed them. Back to the jeep. No, Malia hissed. But they were no longer alone. A figure emerged from the shadows beyond the tree. Pale. Thin. Dressed in a torn white nightgown, soaked with rain. Her head hung at an unnatural angle, twisted to one side. A dark line encircled her neck. The girl from the stories. Keahi stood frozen as the figure inched closer, her feet not quite touching the ground. Her eyes were open, wide and unblinking, filled with endless black. Malia screamed and grabbed Keahi's arm, pulling him toward the jeep. But the world around them shifted. The road was no longer straight. It looped endlessly, trees repeating, landmarks vanishing. They ran, but the jeep didn't come into view. Every direction led back to the tree. Malia gasped. The girl was closer now. The rope in her hand. She raised it slowly, deliberately. Don't look into her eyes! Malia cried, but Keahi already had. His body slackened, breath shallow. A trickle of blood escaped his nose. He collapsed. Malia dropped beside him, shaking him, slapping his face, whispering desperate prayers. The girl paused, just for a moment, and cocked her head at Malia. Then, she vanished. Silence. The fog lifted slightly. Through the gaps, the outline of the jeep appeared. With every ounce of strength, Malia dragged Keahi toward it. Her limbs felt like lead, her vision swam. But she reached it, flung open the door, and shoved him inside. She hit the ignition. It roared to life. As she sped away, the curve came into view again. But this time, it was different. The road was wider. The wall was gone. And the banyan? Burned to ash. The spirit had released them. A week later, Keahi still hadn't spoken about that night. His eyes were distant, haunted. Malia researched for days, trying to understand what happened. She found a chilling line in an old Hawaiian folklore journal. Morgan's corner is not cursed. It is grieving. Those who pass through must carry its sorrow, or it will never let them go. Keahi carried it now. Malia saw it in the way he stared into nothing, as though he could still see her, the ghost girl, hanging from the tree, waiting to claim another. And some nights, when the wind is just right, Malia swears she hears the creaking of a rope, swaying in the dark. Mahalo, dear friends, for joining me on this chilling journey through Paradise Lost. Hawaii may be known for its breathtaking beauty and gentle breezes, but in the hush of the night, its haunted history breathes just beneath the surface. If you ever visit these places, tread lightly. Respect the land. Respect the spirits. And remember, some footsteps from the past never fade. If you enjoyed tonight's tale, please like, share, and subscribe for more haunted history from around the world. Let me know in the comments which location gave you the biggest chills, or if you've ever had a supernatural encounter in Hawaii. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and as always, sleep with one eye open.